Good evening, and thank you for coming back to Question and Research. Tonight's topic will be about distance learning or distance education. Either or goes fine. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell. Also, follow me on Instagram. I'm at Question and Research. So, tonight's topic is distance learning. Now, according to all the recent things that have happened, the trail of events that have happened recently worldwide, a lot of children, school age children, especially in the United States of America, I know for a fact with Chicago and New York City, they are at home doing homework or doing schoolwork, and they're not at school because of what's going on right now. So right now they are experiencing some form of distance education or distance learning. So distance learning is a noun. Um, this is the definition for it: a method of studying in which lectures are broadcast or classes are conducted by correspondence over the internet without the students needing to attend a school or college. And this is also known as distance education. Now, I did some research on distance education and how it was started. When it started, I thought this was a very new term because we have technology for us to connect and using telecommunications to um, to express ourselves, not just always being in the physical presence of someone. So I looked up someone. This person was named Hope Kent Run, and she wrote something about this whole thing of tracing back distance learning. So it started back in the 18th century, and what came that was a surprise to me. So what came to be surprising to me that it started by the postal service. So that was another form of transporting goods. We still use the postal service or some form of transporting parcels to one point A to its destination, like FedEx or Kinko, FedEx or like UPS. So this started with the Boston Gazette. There was a person that wanted to teach shorthand lessons, so he placed the ad. This person placed the ad in the Boston Gazette, and this person was named Isaac Pittman. He saw an opportunity to teach people how to use shorthand, and they used the postal service. He would send postcards, and people would respond. Whoever signed up, they would respond to it. Now, at first, I didn't really think much of distance learning. You know, we all seen the University of Phoenix ads. We'll see them on our computers as a side ad or a side banner as we scrolling through the internet. I never really, honestly, at one point in time, took it seriously. And also, when I was in college as an undergrad, I didn't really take it seriously either because there was a class that they was trying. It was a class that they were promoting, and it was either pass fail, and it was online, and people they wanted to try it out. I graduated from the University of Iowa, but they wanted to try it out, and I was like, okay, what's it about? So when I became like a believer of distance learning is when I started working at Chicago Public Library as a cyber navigator. And yes, books are very helpful. They're very informative. But then I started thinking about how can people or students or parents, when they have projects, major projects, what can they do to lessen the load of having, checking out books when they have a big major research paper due or a project. So they have databases where you can get journal articles where you can read and do all that. So that's another way of lessening the load. So I didn't start to believe about this distance learning until I got to graduate school. Graduate school, we came to class once a week for 3 hours. Also, we did all our homework assignments, projects. We did them online. We either uploaded our papers online, they had a link for that. We were in a portal, and also we took our test online, and they gave us a time period. You had 3 hours or however long the class was. You had 3 or 3.5 hours to complete your test. And then you find out not answers, but you found out your grades online as well. So that this is all part of the distance learning, distance education. Um, when it first started out as distance education, to me, as I was reading through some of the research or some of the things that I found, it had great potential. Then, as you know, time goes on, technology becomes better. So people start using radio. Radio was another way to transmit messages, people to learn, people to come together. Um, and it was a professor that also started to use this as they had like a wireless station at a college as well. But this was also used, not but this was also used in Latin America, where some countries may not have the infrastructure or the hardware that we have. So that was another form of people also learning, distance learning. And what really had a hiccup with distance learning was TV. So TV was invented, or TV was invented, and it didn't quite translate well. It was poorly produced. The FCC was involved. Um, it was just a lot of things that they had a lot of problems, or a lot of challenges when it came to distance learning. So it was poorly produced, which equaled low viewership. It was hard to embrace by teachers, and it was also a factor where it was unable to influence the FCC. Now, with the whole thing with online content, what encouraged distance learning was MOOC, and that was corporate learning. It was like massive online courses that encouraged more of the distance learning in today. So I was hearing things in news reports about children doing distance learning and people coming up with solutions of what they can do. And sometimes, depending on where you live or where students live, it may not be the best idea to give them computers or a Chromebook or a tablet, because or they may not have, or they come for a social economic background where a Wi-Fi is not set up. Maybe they can get a hotspot or something placed in the home, but there are other factors that may bar them. I wouldn't say bar, but may present challenges when you live in a certain area, or you have certain family members that may have a problem. They can take, let's be real, they'll take the things technology based and take it and sell it for money for whatever reason. Things like that happens. So my suggestion, as I was reading through this research, I was like, well, maybe they can create something where they can mail this stuff off, mail it back to the school, and the teacher comes pick up all the assignments. It has to be in on this date at this time, and the teacher goes up to the school and pick up the work and come home. Like right now, I'm like telecommuting on my work issue laptop, and once a week we come in for like an hour and a half or 2 hours, and they kick us out. They don't want us in there too long. They want us to get back home, get our work, and then come back the next week on a specified day. So I was thinking that's a way of another distance learning that the teachers can do. They can, one, get together a lesson plan, get everything together for the children don't have technology, and then pick up the information from either a post office, because that's an essential business. People are still using that, or they mail it to the school or mail it to the PO box for a teacher, for all the teachers. Get that together, and then the teachers can pick up all the work. So that's my whole thing about distance learning. The 3 points that I put on my Instagram: distance learning is a form of telecommunication. It's it's old phrases becoming new again, which is distance learning and education. And 3, what are we doing to support distance learning? So if anybody have any comments or questions or suggestions, please place them down below. Thank you, and welcome back to Question Research.